On a clear April morning in 2003, a 27-year-old adventurer named Aron Ralston set out alone to explore the rugged beauty of Blue John Canyon in Utah, his backpack light, his spirit high, never imagining that in a matter of hours he would find himself in one of the most terrifying survival stories in history, a real-life horror that would test the limits of body and soul. Descending into the narrow slot canyons, with sheer sandstone walls towering hundreds of feet above, Aron squeezed between boulders and crevices, adrenaline fueling his exploration. But then, in a split second, everything changed. An 800-pound boulder shifted, crashing down and pinning his right arm against the canyon wall, trapping him in a grave of stone, sunlight a distant sliver above his head, silence pressing in like a suffocating weight. And though at first he believed he could free himself, tugging, pushing, straining, every attempt left him weaker, the truth soon became undeniable. He was stuck, utterly alone, with no cell signal, no way to call for help, and no one knowing where he was. Hours turned into days, the desert sun burning his skin by day, the freezing cold gnawing at him by night, his water running out, his food supply dwindling to crumbs, and his body slowly shutting down. Yet he kept recording messages on his camcorder, speaking to his family, laughing at times, crying at others, admitting that he might die here but refusing to let despair consume him, clinging to the stubborn belief that somehow he would escape. By the fourth day his lips were cracked, his body dehydrated to the brink of collapse, his strength nearly gone, and as hallucinations blurred his vision, he knew that if he didn't act, the canyon would become his tomb. And so, in a moment that would go down in history as one of the most shocking acts of willpower, he made the unthinkable decision to cut off his own arm to survive. With a dull multi-tool knife, Aron began the gruesome task, slicing through flesh, muscle, tendons, and finally using the rock itself to snap the bone, enduring pain so excruciating most would have passed out, yet forcing himself to stay awake, stay conscious, stay alive, because death was not an option, freedom was. And after nearly an hour of unimaginable agony, he stumbled back, his right arm left behind under the boulder, his body weak but his spirit burning with triumph. And with one good hand he rappelled down a sheer 65-foot cliff, then staggered for miles under the blazing desert sun until, near collapse, he encountered a family hiking, who rushed to his aid and called for rescue, saving his life just in time. Aron Ralston lost his arm, but he gained something far greater, the unshakable knowledge that he had stared death in the face and refused to surrender, that when pushed to the edge of human endurance, the will to live can achieve the impossible. And his story, later told in the film 127 Hours, has since inspired millions across the world, not as a tale of despair but as a reminder that no matter how heavy the boulder in your life, no matter how impossible the obstacle before you, if you choose to fight, if you choose to endure the pain, if you refuse to quit, you can break free and walk toward the light. Aron's survival is proof that strength is not found in avoiding suffering but in facing it head-on, that horror can transform into hope, and that even when trapped between a rock and death itself, the human spirit, if it chooses to, can carve a path back to life.